I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yugambeh and Jagera peoples, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I live in Logan, a busy multicultural area which is clearly evident as I walk around. However, I discovered that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's culture was practically invisible amongst the built-up environments. I work with school-aged children, so I asked colleagues and children about their knowledge of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. I was deeply saddened when an Indigenous Australian child told me that all people with brown skin are Aboriginal and all people with white skin are from the Cook Islands. He did not believe people with fair skin could be Indigenous Australians. Similar stories from other children continued to flow. There was also an assumption that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples are mystical figures from the Dreamtime. Critically reflecting on this, I have to acknowledge my own role in their assumptions. In my childcare experience, dot paintings, boomerangs and Dreamtime stories are typically used to educate children in Indigenous Australian content and culture. I can now see that these actions are only perpetuating a continued lack of understanding amongst children, families and the community. I am missing the opportunity to assist in creating future advocates and allies. As I look around now for what seems like the first time, I notice a complete absence of material positively acknowledging Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their culture in my workplace, despite Indigenous Australian families using the service every day. The brutality and bloodshed of colonisation, dispossession of land, loss of economy and culture, the protection orders, control and assimilation of Indigenous peoples has led us to where we are today, and I am now witnessing the results firsthand. School-aged children in the area are now educated about their culture as part of Closing the Gap policies. I also discovered an Indigenous-only kindergarten who teach young children culture and respect. When asked if they taught language, the teacher told me I would struggle to find anyone who could. This reflects information that of the 250 Aboriginal Australian languages spoken before colonisation, only 145 are spoken today, and 110 of those are critically endangered. Now I am aware through my studies it is frustrating to witness the effects of deliberate destruction of Indigenous peoples' beliefs, spirituality and culture through protection and assimilation. Whilst it may have begun so long ago, the effects are real and continuing. The Logan Library has a section designed to meet the needs of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. I discovered that this is quite often a meeting place. I found children's stories about the stolen generation, which was particularly emotional. This has been the subject that has struck me so deeply through my learning. I could not even imagine the pain that parents and children had to endure and the resulting intergenerational trauma and loss of culture, connection and identity. These are the stories I should be reading to the children in my care. As I reflect on my journey, I feel ashamed of what has been done and my ignorance and the part I have unknowingly played. I now understand why the Indigenous Australian people's cultures and viewpoints are invisible to me. This is because they have been rendered invisible by non-Indigenous Australia. Whilst programs and services can be found in my community, they are not instigated by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. They are government initiatives. Real change lies with the Indigenous Australian people and their allies and not another government policy. Only with education, acknowledgement and positive motivated change will the first Australians be truly visible in their own right.